My Father's Place, proclaiming Jesus Christ to the world. Good morning and welcome to My Father's Place. This is the Bible study of Jeremiah, and it is called They Did Not Listen. They did not listen. Everything that you are hearing from here on out is because they did not listen to the ones that the Lord sent to them again and again to exhort them to repent and warn them of the consequences of their sin. They did not listen. So we're going to be in Jeremiah 40. It's 16 verses long. We'll do the whole thing. And if I were to give it a title, it would be Jeremiah's Freedom Story. This is where we take from verse 14 of 39 and fill in the blanks. And it's also where we learn some interesting things about a character named Johanan, leader of the remnant army of Judah, who was going to do some very bad things later on. So we get introduced to him. So it's so weird because Jeremiah's fellow Jews wanted to kill him. And a pagan king set him free. Like I told you last time, set him free. Said, don't do anything to Jeremiah. Don't harm him. Do whatever he tells you. Pagans sometimes know more than those who call themselves the Lord's. So this truth does speak volumes to today's church. They should have recognized that he was speaking the Lord's words, the Jews who heard Jeremiah speak. But no, they rejected his words. What is coming up is the result. And what we have been speaking of just recently is the result. So I'll pray, and then we'll get into it. Oh Lord, may your church hear, filled with those who are infants, and those who know you only by name and do not know you intimately and personally. May the words that you have me speak today prick the hearts of the ones who are listening and hearing and seeing this message. May they heed it. In your name I pray. Amen. Jeremiah's freedom story. See, the people of Judah, his fellow Jews, were so far from God that they refused to even recognize that he was speaking for him. They didn't want to hear his words. His words, which were the Lord's words, conflicted with their narrative that was taught to them by false prophets. Oh, the Lord won't send you to Babylon. Oh, the Lord won't overrun Jerusalem. So his fellow Jews loved not his words, which were from the Lord, but the words of the false ones. They loved the ones who told them what they wanted to hear instead of what they needed to hear. So, as I've said, it's the same with today's sinning church, filled with sinning infants. They love the false teachers who teach them another Jesus, 2 Corinthians 11:4, because they tell them what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear. But if they would listen to the truth, the Lord would set them free from their sin-sick hearts. Galatians 5:24, Acts 1:4-5, when they obeyed his commandments regarding the Spirit from Luke 24:49 and Acts 1:4-5. He would do it. But no, they don't want to hear that. They like to hear that they can continue to sin. So if I were imprisoned by them, or if they tried to silence me in some way for speaking the truth that the Lord commands me to speak, I believe that it would be no different for me and for all of the Lord's Spirit-filled bondservants, no different for us than it was for Daniel. No matter where Paul went, he was always set free until it was time for him to leave this earth. And that was by Emperor Nero of Rome cutting off his head. He thought he could silence him, but Paul still speaks. So I would not expect the church to set me free. They'd be the ones that were trying to kill me. But I believe that, like Daniel, pagan leaders will come to know me and understand that I have the Spirit of God in me, just like Nebuchadnezzar did with Daniel. And that one would free me and honor me, just as with Daniel. He would do that for all who Jesus Christ has made his witnesses here, ones through whom the world will believe that the Father sent the Son. I believe that absolutely. I see it all through the Word. It's the Jews who kill the ones who have God's truth for them. And it's the church who tries to silence those who have God's truth for them. So, Jeremiah 40. I'll do it just a few verses at a time. Verse 1, the word which came to Jeremiah from the Lord after Nebuzaradan, captain of the bodyguard, had released him from Ramah when he had taken him bound in chains among all the exiles of Jerusalem and Judah who were being exiled to Babylon. Now, to refresh your memory from the last chapter, Jeremiah 39:13 and 14. So Nebuzaradan, the captain of the bodyguard, sent word. They even sent and took Jeremiah out of the court of the guardhouse and entrusted him to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, to take him home. So he stayed among the people. So now I will show you what happened between they even sent and took Jeremiah out of the guardhouse and entrusted him to Gedaliah to take him home. There's something in between, and that's what this chapter 40 will show you. So verses 2 through 3. Now the captain of the bodyguard had taken Jeremiah, that's Nebuzaradan, and said to him, the Lord your God promised this calamity against this place, and the Lord has brought it on and done just as he promised, because you, people, sinned against the Lord and did not listen to his voice. Therefore this thing has happened to you. So Nebuzaradan received orders from Nebuchadnezzar, King Nebuchadnezzar, that he was not to harm Jeremiah, but was to do whatever Jeremiah told him to do. So when he came to free Jeremiah at Ramah, they freed him from the court of the bodyguard. Then they took him to Ramah, which was the staging place to send Jews into exile in Babylon. So this amazes me. I am amazed by so many things related to the church and the Jews of Jeremiah's day. A pagan, Nebuzaradan, knew why Judah was judged and who judged them. He told the whole story right here in these two verses. Yes, you refused to listen, and this is the result. Jeremiah had been telling this to the Jews for 42 years at this point. And the Lord had just done as he promised. He brought Judah's calamity upon them, but they actually had brought it on themselves because they refused to listen and repent. And Nebuzaradan said it, you, Judah, sinned against the Lord and did not listen to his voice. That is why they had been overrun and captured by Babylon. and were about to be taken in the last of several exiles to Babylon. It just amazes me that at the same time as Nebuzaradan knew the truth of what had happened, a pagan knew the truth of what had happened, the Jews were still saying, "Why? Why are you doing this to us, Lord? Why?" And it's the same in today's church. People undergo his judgment. He lets them be sifted like wheat, as Jesus told Peter. And they say, "Why? Why?" He's getting at something that's in you. For Peter, it was his pride. For you, it's your rebellion. Therefore, repent. Even the world can see that the church is sinning. And they shake their heads at you and mock you. See, the people, why did the people not listen? Well, they liked the words of the false prophets. They loved the words of the false prophets who said, "No worries. You belong to the Lord. You're the Jews. You're his people. He's your father. Don't worry about it. He'll save you, no matter what you do." But they hated Jeremiah's words. Obviously, they had tried to kill him. Unless you repent, oh church, filled with infants. Oh church that is teaching that it's okay to sin, that God's grace will cover you no matter what, that once you're saved, you're always saved. When you stand before the Lord in the day of judgment, each one of you will be responsible for what you have done with his truth. That is, you have rejected it. You will find yourself in a terrible calamity, far worse than Judah's. Because unless you repent and obey his commandments to be filled with the Spirit, the same thing will happen to you as happened to them. You will perish. Your perishing will be eternal. Because on the day of judgment, he will judge you and sentence you to hell. That's what the Word of God says. He would heal your sin-sick heart in a moment of time if you would simply obey his commandments regarding the Spirit. But you reject my words. Repent. Verse 4. So Nebuzaradan says, "I know why this has happened to Judah." And then he says to Jeremiah, "But now, behold, I am freeing you today from the chains which are on your hands in Ramah. If you would prefer, literally, if it is good in your eyes, to come with me to Babylon, come along and I will look after you." That is, he would set his eyes upon Jeremiah and watch over him to make sure no one harmed him. "But if you would prefer not to come with me to Babylon, that is, if it is evil in your eyes to come to Babylon, never mind." Never mind. Literally, it's refrain with an exclamation point. "Look, the whole land is before you. Go wherever it seems good and right for you to go." The ones who had conquered Judah said this to Jeremiah. After recounting the reason Judah and Jerusalem were judged and exiled by the Lord, Nebuzaradan freed Jeremiah from his chains. Then, just as he had been ordered by King Nebuchadnezzar, he said, "Come with us, do whatever is good for you, whatever is right in your eyes. Go back to Judah, whatever is right in your eyes, go ahead and do. We're good with that." But he said, "If it is not right in your eyes to go to Babylon with me, then refrain. Don't do it. Do what is right in your eyes. Go wherever you want. Verses 5 through 6. As Jeremiah was still not going back, he said, Go on back then to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, whom the king of Babylon has appointed over the cities of Judah, and stay with him among the people, or else go anywhere it seems right for you to go. So the captain of the bodyguard gave him a ration, that is, a ration of food, and a gift, a monetary reward, and let him go. Then Jeremiah went to Mizpah to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, and stayed with him among the people who were left in the land. Now you know what happened from verse 14, what happened between releasing him from the guardhouse and giving him over to Gedaliah's care. So Jeremiah had not yet gone back. He had not started on his way back toward Judah. So Nebuzaradan took that as his cue to say, go back then to Gedaliah. Now, Gedaliah was appointed by Nebuchadnezzar as governor over those who remained in the land. Remember, the poor were left in the land to tend fields. Actually, Babylon gave them fields and vineyards, and they tended them. So he gave food to Jeremiah, enough for his journey, and also a monetary reward. Then Jeremiah went to Mizpah, and stayed with Gedaliah and joined the people who were left in the land. And again, does it surprise you that even though it doesn't say this here, you will see that it's so as we go into the next chapters? He continued to speak the words which the Lord gave him. Verses 7 through 8. Now all the commanders of the forces that were in the field, they and their men, heard that the king of Babylon had appointed Gedaliah the son of Ahikam over the land, and that he had put him in charge of the men, women, and children, those of the poorest of the land, who had not been exiled to Babylon. So they came to Gedaliah at Mizpah, along with Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and Johanan, and Jonathan, the sons of Kareah, and Seraiah, the son of Tanhumeth, and the sons of Iphi, the Netophathite, the Neophathite, and Jezaniah, the son of Maacathite, both they and their men. So there was a very small remnant of the army of Judah, which had escaped and been scattered in the fields. They heard that Gedaliah had been appointed as governor over the poor who were left in the land on purpose by Nebuchadnezzar. So the leaders of the remnant of Judah's army, small as it was, came to Gedaliah accompanied by their fighting men. Verses 9 through 10. Then Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, swore to them, charged them with an oath, and to their men, saying, Do not be afraid of serving the Chaldeans. Now these next few words are very important. Stay in the land and serve the king of Babylon, that it may go well with you. You will find that in chapter 42, he totally disregarded that because he had already planned to try to escape to Egypt with his men and whichever Judeans wanted to go with him. Stay in the land and serve the king of Babylon, that it may go well with you. Verse 10, Now as for me, Gedaliah said, Behold, I am going to stay at Mizpah and stand for you before the Chaldeans who come to us. But as for you, gather in wine and summer fruit and oil, and put them in your storage vessels, and live in your cities that you have taken over. When they came to Gedaliah, he charged them with an oath, telling them not to be afraid to serve the Babylonians, and to stay in the land. It would go well with them if they did what he had charged them to take an oath to do. Gedaliah told them he would stay in Mizpah to be their governor, and when the Babylonian officials would come and go, he would deal with them. That's what it meant by standing before. He would represent everyone. He urged them to stay in the cities where they had found refuge. In the fields, they could come back from the fields and find refuge in the mostly empty cities. Verses 11 through 12. Likewise, also the Jews who were in Moab and among the sons of Ammon and in Edom, and who were in all the other countries, heard that the king of Babylon had left a remnant for Judah, and that he had appointed over them Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan. Then all the Jews returned from all the places to which they had been driven away, and came to the land of Judah, to Gedaliah at Mizpah, and they gathered in wine and summer fruit in great abundance. Some in Judah had escaped to Moab and Edom, as well as other countries. They heard that the king of Babylon had left a remnant in Judah, though, and that Gedaliah was their governor. So, just as the scattered army of Judah had returned when they heard that news, they returned and came to Gedaliah at Mizpah. And they also gathered in a great abundance of wine and summer fruit, because remember, they had been under siege and had not been able to go out to their vineyards and out to their fruit trees and out to their fields for a year and a half. Verses 13 through 14. Now Johanan the son of Kareah and all the commanders of the forces that were in the field came to Gedaliah at Mizpah and said to him, Are you well aware that Baalis, the king of the sons of Ammon, has sent Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, to take your life? But Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, did not believe them. Johanan and all of the commanders came to Gedaliah and said that there was an assassination plot, and Ishmael was to be the assassin. You will see why he wanted to kill him in the next verses, but Gedaliah did not believe them. He did not believe them. Then Johanan the son of Kareah spoke secretly to Gedaliah in Mizpah, saying, Let me go and kill Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and not a man will know. Why should he take your life, so that all the Jews who are gathered to you would be scattered, and the remnant of Judah would perish? But Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, said to Johanan, the son of Kareah, Do not do this thing, for you are telling a lie about Ishmael. So Johanan secretly went and said, I tell you what, I'll go and kill Ishmael, and then you will remain as governor, and the people won't be scattered and perish. He warned Gedaliah that the people would be scattered and perish if Gedaliah was assassinated. So he was trying to use a very powerful reason why Gedaliah should give him permission as governor to go and secretly assassinate Ishmael. But Gedaliah commanded Johanan not to kill Ishmael. He was sure that Gedaliah was telling a lie about Ishmael. Why would he think that Johanan was lying? Well, I looked at Feinberg in the Expositor's Bible Commentary, and he said that Gedaliah was probably politically naive or overconfident, that no one would remove him from his position because he had been appointed by Nebuchadnezzar, and Nebuchadnezzar was very glad to kill anyone who went against what he had commanded. But there's another reason that he might have thought Johanan was lying. It may be that he knew Johanan was lying about many other things. He may have learned that Johanan was already plotting to escape to Egypt with the remnant of Judah's army and anyone who would go with them, and was lying about the assassination attempt in order to keep his escape plan secret. You will see his plot, as I've said, in chapter 42. Here's the irony of it all. He told Gedaliah, "Oh, the people will be scattered and everyone will perish if you are assassinated." But that's exactly what happened when Johanan went with the remnant of his army and whoever wanted to go with them to Egypt. They all perished there. The Lord saw to it. You will see in chapter 42, it is because he said, "Do not go to Egypt." And even in that, Johanan disobeyed him. So I don't think Gedaliah was necessarily politically naive. I think he may have already known that Johanan was a liar. So why should he believe him about this assassination plot? So except for the poor who were assigned by Babylon to fields and vineyards and given fields and vineyards to tend, except for them, those who did not go with Johanan were scattered, and the remnant who remained perished, and all who went with him perished. That is what happens to everyone who attempts to escape the Lord's judgment. They could have stayed. It would have gone well with them. But no, they did not want to be under Babylonian rule. Therefore, they rebelled. So here's my exhortation. Much plotting and planning goes on in today's so-called church, among today's infants in Christ. 1 Corinthians 3:1. You plan to escape the judgment of Jesus Christ. So you refuse to listen to those who warn you that if you simply submit to the world system that defies God, that system that will overrun you, if you simply submit, you will live. You seek to escape his judgment because you do not want to endure his judgment. You fear that the world system that defies God will punish you. They will use you. You will be a slave to them, and they will harm you. That's your fear. But he's judged you, and if you try to escape his judgment, the same thing will happen to you as will happen to Johanan when he tries to take as many as he can with him to Egypt to escape. Escape. So, O church, O infants, endure his judgment now. You will have plenty of time to think about why you are under his judgment. And you will have plenty of time to repent. And then, believe me, as a former infant, I tell you, it will indeed go well with you. You will find a favor with God when you obey his commandments regarding the Spirit. If you will just obey Jesus Christ, that's all you need to do. He will cure the sin sickness, the rebellion that's in your heart. Lord Jesus, I have spoken these words of truth. You will take care of those who obey you in your judgment, who submit to it. But those who will not submit and try to escape will perish. This is the truth you have asked me to speak, so it would prick hearts and cause infants to repent. In your name, let it be so. Amen.
Fields are white and the workers are few, but the Lord of the harvest is faithful and true. He'll send forth more workers to accomplish his plan and pour out his Spirit